Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. I'm back with more crossover news. I haven't covered a topic like this exclusively yet, but I feel like this is a growing trend of country music and hip hop music being mashed up together or being collaborated with. So after listening to Big X the Plug's new song with Bailey Zimmerman, who Bailey Zimmerman is a very great artist, country music artist who I discovered during the time of the Twister soundtrack movie. He had a very great song called Hill or High Water. Very, passionate song for the album, well, for the soundtrack that kind of got you ready for the movie and things like that. But that song that Big X the Plug and Bailey Zimmerman has called, All the Way. Um, Very great song, very great mix of country music and rap, and shows what the genres can do together if they actually put their heads together and actually, put egos aside or put any kind of biases aside and work together. So this song showed you, you know, what that looks like if they actually came together and made albums together or made more songs together. Now, this isn't the first time that this collection or collaboration has happened between country and rap. Now, there has been collaborations between genres before with hip hop. So going all the way back to the Run DMC days with Aerosmith and Walk This Way. So that was one of the first songs that made that collaboration between two worlds, mixing up with hip hop. Of course, that's rock music, but it's mixing in. And they were pretty much in that rock star category when you think about Run DMC. They had the elements of it, they had the instruments and things like that. Or you want to take it to, I don't know what you call Linkin Park, but Linkin Park's mixed up with Jay-Z, the collaboration that they had. I love that album. Just to mix, Jay-Z's lyrics with their production was amazing. It was something that I thought would happen more of in the hip hop community with, I think, their alternate rock or somewhere around those lines. But that mix up I thought would be something that went forward a lot more, but it really didn't. It didn't come to fruition as I thought it would, even back then in the early 2000s. We even saw Kirk Franklin collaborate with Little Baby, which was different. I was excited about that collaboration because I used to always joke around and say, what if Kirk Franklin did a song with Tupac, or what if Kirk Franklin did a song with Lil Wayne or something like that? I used to always joke around with that. And when the song first came out, I rushed to go hear it, and it was a great song. Lil Baby didn't even use profanity. Kirk Franklin even had the little phrase on the song where he says, "You crazy for this one," which is a Just Blaze line. So everything was great in music. But over the last decades, couple of decades, there's been a growing trend of hip hop artists collaboration with other different genres. I mean, specifically gospel. It's one that we didn't think we would see, but but we've seen it in a couple of different ways, whether it be R&B and gospel, which is R&B is kind of hip hop adjacent nowadays, but this growing trend of hip hop and country music started to really take off. So one of the grandfathers of this formula was Nelly. Now, Nelly's first album was called Country Grammar. Him being from St. Louis, he probably did hear a lot of country music, the same as me being from Memphis. Sometimes you can't escape a music, because I know, people from New York, they can't escape hip hop, whether you're a country fan or a gospel fan or whatever. You're gonna hear hip hop. It's the mecca of where it landed. And, Memphis being adjacent to Nashville, which is um, you know, equivalent to New York and hip hop. Country music and Nashville are very synonymous in that same way. So you're gonna hear that music a lot, and sometimes you're gonna vibe with it, sometimes you're not. But nevertheless, it's gonna be in the back of your brain because it's always gonna be played. But Nelly had the formula for mixing up the country music and rap music. So when Nelly came out with the song with Tim McGraw, who at the time I didn't know who Tim McGraw was, but when I found out he was a country artist, it was very interesting to me back then, hearing it all the way back then as a teenager. But very great song, a very great clash, and Nelly crosses over because he doesn't have super aggressive music, super aggressive lyrics, and a lot of people from other genres, I mean, other demos and genres too, kind of listen to Nelly because he's made hits that defined a lifetime for us. If you go all the way back to Batter Up and songs like that, which is played a lot in the baseball world, and Nelly's from St. Louis, so I'm pretty sure the Cardinals played that a lot during their times, when he was at his prime and his peak of his career. But not only did Nelly double down with the collaboration with Tim McGraw, but he made a country-based album, country rap-based album. And not only, did he, kind of dabble into the country music world, but he had appearances from Florida Georgia Line, Kane Brown, Darius Rucker, and other country music artists. So he embraced the culture, which had, the album cover had half a cowboy hat and half a fitted cap. So it kind of showed you he was embracing both worlds, kind of clashing and collaborating because it's a beautiful collaboration. But he was a pivotal part of hip hop and had that success formula from the jump, embracing country music, embracing other genres like R&B and things like that. Um, but the experiment that he had, other people built upon and kind of created their own formula for it as well to build upon that success. So one of the songs that I like right now that's a country music rap collaboration is the Morgan Wallen featuring Moneybagg Yo song, Whiskey Whiskey. Now this song is another one of those songs that took it to the next level because Moneybagg Yo is pretty much a gangster rapper. Morgan Wallen has a gangster past, so to speak. So it made a lot of sense. And he's from Nashville. Morgan Wallen's, I believe, from the Nashville area, and Moneybagg Yo is from Memphis. So it's that Tennessee collaboration um, that you have together. So it makes a lot of sense. And their labels are probably, you know, thinking the same thing to do something for Tennessee, to do something to big up the state. Morgan Wallen does, a couple collaboration with rap artists. So it does make a lot of sense. Um, Also, Megan Wallen, he collaborated with Lil Durk twice. So he has a lot of connections with the hip hop world. Snoop Dogg as well. We know Snoop Dogg has done a couple of songs with Willie Nelson, which if you know, that collaboration definitely makes sense. Um, Lil Nas X with Billy Ray Cyrus, which Lil Nas X was, put into a hip hop category, even though it had the elements of country music. But of course, they wasn't going to let him through that door, especially in his intro to the world. So they kind of threw him off to the side. But that was a great collaboration as well that all the kids loved, that was made into Kids Bop and all these different things. So people was able to uh, resonate with the music. It's one of the most streamed probably YouTube videos and one of the most streamed songs of all time. Because when kids hear songs, they're gonna play it about 50 times and never get tired of it. So they were probably playing that video like that. So it got a lot of different plays. But I can't leave this topic without discussing the impact of Bubba Sparks. If you remember Bubba Sparks from the early 2000s, probably late 90s, he had a great influence on, well, he was a country rap artist. So he already had the collaborations down packed. His whole music was geared around that, but he had a lot of hip hop elements, but then he had a country twang to his flow and things like that. But he is definitely one of the forefathers of this country rap type deal, one of the earliest ones to do it, and he doesn't get talked about enough for it. But Bubba Sparks had a major influence on me in my early teens as well, because I remember he was on a couple Madden soundtracks, if I remember. I know he was on one. I want to say he was on two, but his music definitely resonated with a lot of inner city youth, a lot of different people, from different backgrounds and demos. So Bubba Sparks definitely had a major impact on country and rap, that country rap realm. But I think there's still more room for collaborations as far as, you know, collaborations with other artists with, I want to see artists, rap artists collaborate with like Lainey Wilson, Chris Stapleton, Megan Maroney, who I love a lot, um, Luke Combs. There's a lot of great country artists out there that can mix well. Like I would love to hear a Lil Wayne and Lainey Wilson collaboration. That would probably sound amazing. Or Chris Stapleton, who I believe is the greatest singer of country music right now, and maybe of all artists. Him singing the national anthem at the Super Bowl was the best, singing I heard at a national anthem. So there's a lot of room for collaborations with these artists, and hopefully, people can put everything aside and be able to give us great music and just collaborate that way. So, as always, until next time, I'll see you next time.